Hi, ho everyone, my name's Mr. Fruit, and welcome back to another Bazaar expansion reveal. I'm very excited to be sharing Season 5's expansion. This one will be Dooley, and we have the entire expansion, which I'm very excited about. They know I love my boy, the Duelster. Now, granted, with Season 5, Stell, a brand new hero, is being revealed with and released with a whole bunch of cards. And because of that, some of Dooley's new cards share a keyword, a brand new keyword, that we're going to be seeing with Stell, so I'm excited to hop into that with all of you right now. First up, we have Chaff, a new small cooldownless item that says, when an adjacent item burns, shield 10, and this is interesting, when an enemy would destroy your items, this is destroyed instead. So take that, fellow dinosaur enjoyers. What are you going to destroy? Granted, there's other things that could destroy, and maybe Stell has some destroy stuff. You could use this with, well, pretty obviously like the fire core. Burn core. We have the hover tech, a medium tech item. 4 seconds, one other item starts flying. And then passively, when you crit with a flying item, it stops flying, and your flying items have extra crit chance. In this case, 50%, but as always with some of the reveals, the actual release numbers might vary a little, so take it with a grain of salt. But this is the first time we see flying. So let me tell you what exactly flying is. And they sort of gave me a rundown right here. Flying is a binary status that items can have, i.e. an item can either be flying or not. Flying has no duration, so once an item starts flying, it will continue to fly unless another effect makes it stop flying, such as hover tech. While an item is flying, the duration of slows and freeze applied to it will be halved. This only applies to new freezes or slows, not ones already on it. They mentioned that a lot of items in Stell's pool will care about items flying. Some of them care about how many items are flying or using items that are flying. Others care about when cards start or stop flying. And that's also the case with some of these Dooley items. Hover Tech is an item that's going to allow other items to start flying that might not already be flying themselves, such as the Launcher Core. That's right, I'm a big fan of adding new cores. It adds a bunch of variety to Dooley, means you can't force the same core as much, and means you just play around some stuff more. So in this case, 7-second cooldown like most of the cores, 2 other items start flying when it activates, and you charge your flying items 1 second. We have the Launchpad, an item starts flying. When you use a friend or flying item, burn 2. And this obviously makes sense with the core we just mentioned because you want to use friends or flying with the core. And if you use those with this, well, then you start burning. Granted, Launchpad isn't a friend, but it could get flying, in which case it could charge other things. But the more things you have on the board to make other things fly, the faster your entire board will be flying. Fly, you fools! Levitation Pad, a small item. If the item to the left of this is flying, haste it for a second. Meanwhile, the item to the left of this starts flying. So every 4 seconds, if the thing isn't flying, you'll make it. You'll also haste it, but this could help given, you know, just like the whole, if it crits, it stops flying. So every 4 seconds, you can be like, hey, get back up, buddy, you know? Like a certain pill some men of certain ages need, you know? Just a little bit of help getting it back up. We have the Party Float. I always love new large items. Not to mention all the art, especially these. Like, you can see where they place all the little friends of Dooley's and whatnot. But anyway, large vehicle. 4 seconds, a friend starts flying. And then passively, when you use a flying item, shield 50. And your flying items' cooldowns are reduced by 10%. Any cooldowns also super premium. So that's cool to see. Now, this one can actually target friends specifically. All the others I believe so far have just been an item, or in the case of Levitation Pad, the item to the left of it. We have the Propeller Hat. At the start of each fight, your cores start flying. When you use a flying item, haste an item for 1 second. Obviously, you'd think if you're using flying items, Propeller Hat would be pretty good, speeding up your entire board, and I assume the haste would increase with the upgrades. Now the interesting thing is it says at the start of each fight, your cores start flying. It specifies cores, where typically they've removed it so that most stuff just references 1 core. But in this case, obviously, if you had like the combat core, if you were to give things the core tag like Beast of Burden or the Hydraulic Press or something, you can have them flying. Unstable Gravwell, another medium item, bit of a longer cooldown compared to the others. All your items start flying. Destroy this and an enemy item with no cooldown for the fight. Now, I do love me some destruction. I know everybody that faces destruction doesn't like it, myself included, but I like doing the destruction. So that's cool. Specifically targeting no cooldowns as well is pretty interesting. So it's only a one-time use, but in case maybe you didn't have another way to really activate many flying items, or just like that, they keep getting grounded. You can just make sure everything gets up in the air. But we have the radar module. A lot of cooldown lists, like non-activatable items in this expansion. When an enemy uses an item, items adjacent to this gain crit chance for the fight. So you could give your flying items extra crit chance. Or in this case, I mean, this doesn't have to be related to flying either. This could just be in anything. Specifically too, probably pretty good with like just a crit core build. And last but not least, probably my favorite because it's a large friend. So what's not to love? Not to mention, we got another freaking dinosaur friends. Large friend dinosaur weapon, pterodactyl. I'll never get tired of the puns. Long cooldown, starts at gold, so does the party float, as at least the items they've revealed so far, we don't know on release. This starts or stops flying. When this stops flying, deal 1,000 damage. When you use a dinosaur or flying item, you charge it 2 seconds. So it'll activate upon any other dinosaur or flying items. But this specifically is one that also interacts with grounding, flying, because you actually want it to fly and then want it to ground. So in this case, potentially putting the levitation pad to make sure you have a targeted thing to make sure the pterodactyl is flying whenever you need it to, that could be pretty helpful. At least from what I've seen, nothing else can actually ground pterodactyl or stop. I'm just saying grounded because flying and you stop flying, you're grounded. It's not actually called grounded, just so there's no confusion. The only time it will ground itself is on its own activation. So you just want to make sure when it's going off, you've given it flying from something else so that it doesn't spend time using its activation to start flying. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the brand new Bazaar Season 5 Dooley expansion. Always an honor and a treat to be able to reveal some of that. So I do appreciate the chance as always. Look forward to Season 5 this upcoming Wednesday, the 13th. And along with it, they just recently announced a lot of changes. So for those unaware, the game is now coming to Steam. It's no longer free to play. It's going to be a buy-to-play model. But with that, no more purchasable prize pass. It'll just be a free cosmetic prize pass. No more ranked ticket entry. Chests are now in normal as well as ranked and are doubled because there's no more subscription. And the first 3 heroes, or 4, are all free for players who start. If you have already played the Bazaar before the time you saw this video, you don't have to worry. You get you don't have to pay, and everything you have stays. But there's also some other stuff that people are divided on, and understandably so. New characters will no longer be purchasable from gyms. They'll be paid DLC. And right now, the prices are what people are referencing, but for context, with this new model, I know things keep changing. It's hard to say. I just want the game to be as popular as it can and as good as it can. So if this is what it is, so be it. But I think they are a common theme is people who have played feel like they're stepping on their toes, which is understandable. $45, at least that's the current thing. And I think they have regional pricing for the game. And then each new character you want to purchase will be $20. That's it, though. I think that's the only monetization now in the game. There's no other. You can't skip tiers in the battle pass. You don't buy gyms to get ranked tickets. You can't do any of that. So that is gone, but also new. And I'm still undecided on the paid business model. I mean, again, if it's more sustainable for them, cool. But I think obviously free to play is always more accessible for people. But in this case, speaking of this expansion, with all these changes, expansions are now free to everyone the moment they come out. When a new item hits a hero, everybody at the same time has them. So there's no more worry about that. There's no way you can spend money, so to speak, in order to get some sort of a gameplay advantage. In this case, the only way you could spend money to get a gameplay quote-unquote advantage would just be a different gameplay experience, which would be new heroes. And they have scrapped the actual Bazaar player-to-player trading that they were planning for the longest time, which is a little unfortunate. I thought that would have been cool, which means they're also removing item minting. So It's a little sad because that seemed cool, but they're doing it in order to focus on more important stuff that will actually impact more things. Among that is obviously like mobile and the single player mode, stuff like that, which I think will all be good, but that's what I don't know what is mobile going to look like, because a premium paid mobile game these days is, I mean, mobile games are just expected to be free to play. So I don't know if that means mobile will have a different, I have to feel it'll have a different monetization system, but then that's going to be confusing. So I don't know. They made the change for a reason. I'm also a little bummed. A while ago, I was told there's going to be, whatchamacallit? Referral code? Like creator referral code? I don't think that's happening. That would have been cool. I've just covered so many games that don't have referral codes. Like, I obviously never really did Fortnite. And that'd just be a nice little kickback, especially, I mean, I've always talked about, I wish Steam did it with all the indie games I do and stuff, because they're never quite as popular, but that could help subsidize some of it. But regardless, I'm excited for the new season. I'm super excited for Stella. I'm excited for the new expansions. They just keep up and down. I mean, I think one or the other, the community will never be in consensus. But I really do hope the game can find the footing. No more drama, you know? Everyone can just, it's just positive news from now on. I am more hopeful about this change, but I do know, I think the biggest thing is that the buy-to-play model, especially entering at $45, that's what a lot of people are saying. So $45 to play the game. You get 3 heroes, sure. But then if you want any of the new ones, $20. I also put it in context, so those are the only ways to monetize now, though. And a new hero, that's a lot of work, man. 100 plus, like, art, not only, like, designs and, you know, like, systems, potential new keywords, all that sort of stuff. You've got voice acting, interactions, skins, which, speaking of skins, there are no more seasonal chests, which is a bummer. But they're all new chests. So I just like seasonal chests, just like collect. Like I have one of each season just to always keep. I don't know if they'll be gone now. But the new chests will have all available cosmetics from the future, at least from my understanding, and items past. So maybe there's a chance I can still get some of the stuff I missed. No one can trade me some of those boards I missed, though. Bodge. But that also means you're not going to miss out on, like, animated item cards if you just, like, didn't play during that season or couldn't play enough. So I think there's positives, negatives, room for discussion. I just wanted to add that here because I'm not sure when else I would have talked about it. Most people would have already just watched the cards and moved on. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the expansion. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Look forward to some Season 5 Bazaar, including plenty of style. You know I love me some new things, so we're going to be doing all the new things coming here soon. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Have yourself a day. I'll talk to you in the next one. Farewell.
If you enjoyed this video, I think you might enjoy this one. With that said, thank you very much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic day. I'll talk to you in the next one. Farewell.